It's 10 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. It's time for the Coach K Show, only on WSAN Radio.
We're saving the world 1 pound at a time.
Ready to transform your body and your life? Tune in to Wanna Go Fit with Coach K on WSAN Radio every other Wednesday at 10 a.m.
We're not just working out. We're saving the world 1 pound at a time. Let's crush those goals together with fun, effective workouts tailored just for you.
From expert advice to valley shrinking exercises with modifications for everyone, Coach K has what you need to succeed. Got fitness goals? We've got the answers. Say yes and let us do the rest. Email us at info@wannagofit.com or call 210-910-7229 to get started today.
Your journey to a healthier you starts right here. Let's make it happen.
Join the movement. Wanna Go Fit with Coach K every other Wednesday at 10 a.m. on WSAN Radio, because a healthier you means a healthier world.
Wanna Go Fit, where we're saving the world 1 pound at a time.
Just 1 pound at a time. That's what we're talking about. Good morning, Coach K. Good morning.
Good morning. How goes it there, Ron? G.
I ran across my girl this weekend, and that's exactly what she said. What's going on, Ron? And she's scratching as she go along and everything. No, it's been wonderful. I actually got out this weekend. Of course, you know, I was there at Horizon More. I was in Austin on Sunday, because my goal is to get out there and start meeting everybody, and people that support me. I want to make sure I get out there and support them. So that's my goal for 2025. And everybody know I support Coach K no matter what. That's my girl right there.
Well, I appreciate it. That's for sure. That is.
And she sent something yesterday, and I was just sitting down there. It popped up, and I don't think it took me 5 minutes to put a piece together and put on Facebook and get it out there. And then overnight, we got 4 questions that came in.
Good.
I said, I like that. Now, when we get 20 coming in, and we can schedule y'all. So how's everything going in your world this morning, young lady?
It's going pretty good up here. Like you said, saving the world 1 pound at a time, not necessarily always talking about weight, you know. So I'm up here doing what I do. I thought about, just like you said, our conversation that we had a couple weeks ago, when I was mentioning how people kind of doing that goal check-in. And remember, I was like, you probably done fell off by now. You know what I mean? So I was thinking about that as I, was preparing for my week. And I said, let's do a Q&A and just kind of give a couple tips, because who don't like tips?
Yes.
That part. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about some of the things that you could do to get rid of weight. Because I don't believe in all right, I'm quiz time, Ron. What is the difference between losing weight and getting rid of weight? I talk about it all the time. So what you got?
Talking about losing weight is something you want to do. You got to be able to want to lose the weight. What was the other part of that question?
Or what's the difference between losing weight and getting rid of weight?
Oh, getting rid of weight is a lifestyle change, because that's something you want to get rid of. That's something you want to do. You don't want to lose weight to go to a class reunion to prove to everybody this is what I've done. You know what I mean? And then after the class reunion, you gain that 20 pounds back.
Exactly. So that's my point. My point is, you can lose weight. You can definitely lose weight. And we spoke about it a few weeks ago when we did our goal check-in. And what I tell you, I said, if you go to the gym parking lot now, there's plenty of spots where there were not spots back in January, right? Because if you begin in January and say, you know what? I'm gonna lose some weight. You can put it on your list time and time again, to do so. So you go at it, and that actually, I'm starting with this because that was one of the questions, I believe, what the young lady said with how what's the right way to lose weight or something like that. When I saw it, I said, oh, we talked about that last week. And what we talked about was how people go in with these unrealistic goals. They don't plan effectively, all of the things that just are going to set you up for failure. What was the question, Ron? You said
It said one of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to lose weight. And she said, how can I fix that? That was from Rosemary here in San Antonio.
okay. And so Rosemary, if you go back, I believe not the last episode, but the episode before that, we spoke about how we go in with these lofty ideas. We're going to go to the gym, we're going to eat broccoli and brown rice and chicken, you prepped all your meals, I mean, you're doing the things. I'm going to drink water. I'm going to drink a gallon of water. And, going about it this way, especially if, as Ron said, this is not going to be a lifestyle change, that is not the right way to go about it. And that is why people fail. And people fail because when you are at the point of the crossroad, okay, you know what? I want to lose some weight, or I want to get rid of weight. Now I'm gonna go back and, like you said, because getting rid of weight is a lifestyle change. If you don't change your lifestyle, like you said, that weight is going to come back. Because when you lose something, 9 times out of 10, you hope you find it again. Maybe not, like lose an ex-boyfriend or something like that. I don't know, whatever. But however, majority of the things that you lose, you want to find. So when you go into it with the getting rid of it mindset, this is where we go into actually getting rid of weight. And Rosemary, that's how you fix that. Because if you go into a situation with, say, hypothetically, as I mentioned, you're going to do cook meal prep, chicken breast, brown rice, and broccoli. And you're going to go to the gym after dinner. You're going to have brown rice and broccoli, for lunch and dinner. And you're going to have a smoothie for breakfast. This is what you're going to do. That's your plan. You've mapped it out. Well, why that is kind of already saying, yeah, I'm just not even going to keep up with that, is because you didn't give yourself any options. You didn't give yourself any variety. You need to be able to have different choices, because in life, you have different food choices. So in your regular life, you're going to be picking up, I may pick up dinner one day. I may go to a birthday party another day. You're going to life. Life's full of life. So when going into it that life is life, and let me be smarter about my decisions. All right, I am going to make some broccoli, chicken breast, and brown rice. However, I am also going to prep some salmon. I'm also going to cut up the items that I want for a salad for the week. By giving yourself some options, right? You can switch it up. Switch it up. Don't go into it with the what we call the conveyor belt idea. That conveyor belt, you just pick it up. Same thing. Just same thing after another. Same thing after another. Same thing after another. Make it interesting to you. That is how you eat. You eat to get rid of weight. Make it interesting. Make it something that you can live with. Choose items in your diet that you actually like and are beneficial to you. Do your research. Do your research. I like XYZ. But does this agree with me? You know, I like, for instance, almonds. Almonds are great to add into your diet if you're, like you said, for a snack, right? If you're, to keep it in, keep it on you, because it daggone sure can come in handy in the pinch. Or maybe if you're hungry before you go to bed and you want to go, you like, I just need something. Make a couple of almonds, right? All right. I was doing that for years. You know what, Ron?
What's that?
Almonds don't agree with me. Almonds make me bloated. I don't react well to almonds. So, like I said, people have their staples and their diets, as you should. Just make sure that they are the right staples for you. Do your research. Keeping up with a food journal during this time that you're going through this lifestyle change can be very helpful. One, of course, it helps you track your calories, right? Tracking, let's make sure that we're clear on this. If you are eating to get rid of weight or to lose weight, whichever mindset that you're going into it with, it has to be a calorie deficit. You have to take in less calories than and more activity, right? You got to burn it in. You can't take in a bunch of calories, just pounding it on and say, all right, I'm gonna go to the gym. No, more than likely, you're not going to burn off the amount of calories that you put in. So you need to make sure that you take in less calories, period. But when you are choosing and making your lifestyle change, write it down. It helps you see what you've taken in as far as calorie wise. There's some calorie counting apps out here, Google it, right? Keep up. It helps you keep up with what you're eating, but what you can also, it gives you a track record. So if you happen to see that on Tuesday you had a salmon and asparagus, and then the next day you didn't really feel that well or whatever, and then but you ate something different, but then on the next day you had that same salmon and asparagus. Well, you can go back in your food journal and say, when I had this the other day, I ate this the other day and I felt the same way. So it also helps you identify any food allergies or anything that you may have. So if you do have to go to a nutritionist or allergist or something like that, you can go in with your knowledge because you have all of your research, right? So again, calorie deficit. Take in less calories, but track it. It also, another benefit of tracking your food, you can look at what, you've ate and be like, I really didn't care for that. So it's some things that you can start, pinpointing to say, I really like that. That works good for me. I feel real good when I eat that. I notice that I lose weight. The scale moves when I move do that, right?
Right.
So just saying, tracking your food definitely helps you to like you said, just identify what works for you and what doesn't. It's a good way to do so. Like you said, it has to be a calorie deficit. You literally, even though not recommended, but you can, like you said, you could just go ahead and get rid of weight with your diet. Now, of course, strength training and cardio and, that type of stuff definitely goes hand in hand. However, the main thing is what you put in your mouth, right?
Right.
We had some. What was the question about metabolism? Since we can, so we can.
Oh, yeah, that came from Joseph
Okay.
out of Austin. He said, what are the best foods to eat naturally to boost metabolism and burn fat?
Okay. Now, one thing about metabolism, we want to make sure, like you said, metabolism is that mechanism, right? It's heat. That's what metabolism is. It's heat, right? Burn. So I one just a little tip, little trick. I always tell my people who are on that weight loss journey, hey, it because I recommend room temperature water. So drinking your, of course, room temperature. However, if you are trying to get rid of weight, or like I said, on a weight loss journey, having, at least maybe 2 cold bottles of water. And I say that. So, you can have one in the morning and you can have one in the evening or whatever. But when you have that cold bottle of water, because it's not room temperature, right? It is
Mhm.
cold. So it drops your body temperature. So your body has to work its way. Metabolism. Gotta warm you up. Gotta warm you up. So that's a quick way to burn some calories just with ice cold water.
Really?
So, just saying. Just saying. Don't kill the messenger. I keep telling y'all to drink water. I don't be playing.
I got my water right here next to me.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Now, room temperature water is ideally what you want to drink. It's good for digestion, especially when you're eating. You don't want to eat. Most people look at me strange because I definitely don't eat and drink at the same time. One, I can't do both because your stomach is only but so big, right? So, but the cold water. Now, the cold water, like you said, where it is helpful if you have not had anything to eat. So when I say drink this cold bottle of water, or ice cold bottle, or ice cold water, I do not mean to do so when you're eating. I mean for you to do so when you're in between meals, or maybe after you've ate, give yourself 30 minutes or so forth or whatever, and then do so. And this is because if you drink that ice cold water while you're eating, your body naturally, right, is digest, the food. So that's acid in your stomach. So as you eat, right, you're breaking it down. That's what's happening, right? If you do not let it break down, that's where you get that nasty, bloated feeling, full feel. It's
Mm.
it's it's not your it's just sitting there. It's just sitting there. So if you drink a room temperature beverage, it helps it along. Ice cold stops it. But ice cold is great in between as a way to burn quick calories.
So, you just said something that piqued my curiosity. People sit down there, have a hot meal, and chasing it with a cold soda or something. That's just defeating the purpose, isn't it?
It is. It is. It really is. And
Wow.
that is why a lot of times people have that bloaty, uncomfortable feeling after they've ate. More than likely, you've made a bad choice anyway if you drink it soda after.
Well, that's what most people drink, that and iced tea. And I
All
mean, I'm
right,
I'm
sweet
I'm a
tea,
water
right?
person.
Well, but honestly, yeah. So it really is counterproductive. It really is. Now, for some of the foods, though, that are good metabolic boosters, um, first thing we're going to say is lean protein, right?
Hmm.
Your body, it takes more for your body to burn protein than it does carbs or, anything else. So lean protein. If you're looking to boost your metabolism, if you're looking to get rid of weight or lose weight, whatever your mindset is, I don't want to single nobody out. However, lean protein, pretty much that.
Okay.
Going down the list, legumes. So like, your lentils, stuff like that. Pitted fruit, plums, blueberries are actually good too. Broccoli, all of the things, right? Broccoli, cauliflower, collard greens, kale, spinach, what else? Spicy food. So
Really?
oh yeah, if you like a little spice in your food, that's good. That's really good. So, because of course that spice, right? It makes it hot. It burns it. You start burning, right? It burns. It gets you going. So because it gets you going, yeah, helps you burn calories. It used to, I don't recommend it, but I remember it was a diet that would go around like the army. And my ex-husband, I remember he was like, he would put this concoction together and they would have cayenne pepper in it.
Mm.
Yeah. And whew. Look, hot going in, hot coming out. But hot food, spicy food is very good to boost your metabolism. Like I said, of course, I'm going to throw those vegetables in there because it's good for it, right? But we want to make sure that if you're looking to kind of for some and those things, so like broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, and stuff. And actually, why they are better as far as metabolic boosting foods is because they are higher in protein than some other vegetables. Remember, protein, your body, and of course, I mean, if you're looking to get rid of weight, that fiber is definitely going to help you out, right?
Okay.
So
Yes.
we need to make sure that fiber, you think about that when you are making your food choices. If you're looking to get rid of weight, you want to make sure that you include a good source of fiber into your diet. It can be, I have a client, she has an apple a day. That's, kind of her thing. She also does like one of those fiber drinks or so forth. But apple a day, she makes sure that she gets it in, because remember, the skin from the apple has the fiber, so the skin is beneficial. And when it comes to these vegetables, when you're preparing your vegetables, like you said, if it's kale, if it's spinach, if it's collards, if it's broccoli, make sure that you are preparing your vegetables al dente. You do not want to, I know we will boil them greens down, but no, you're not getting the most nutritional value out of that. My suggestion to that, because again, remember what I said back in the beginning when we mentioned changing your lifestyle. Well, perhaps your greens, even though you like you boil them down, you fix them or so forth. Well, all right, I'm gonna put turkey in it versus or whatever, but I'm still kind of boiling it down. So even though you're cooking the most of the, know that you're cooking most of the nutritional value out of the vegetables. So that's why it's important to do, al dente or raw when it comes to your vegetables. However, if you are doing so, if this is how you prepare your greens or so forth, just make sure you have another vegetable. It is no law to say that you only have to have one vegetable.
That's
I
right.
do suggest when you are trying to get rid of weight, double up on your vegetables at every meal. At every meal. Double up on them. For breakfast, maybe you have a little egg scramble that you put mushrooms and spinach in. And then on the side, you may have some a slice of cucumber or so forth. Maybe you're not traditional, and like me, you may have some asparagus or a little side salad. I don't know. You know, when you go to brunch, when I go to brunch, one of my favorite places to go, they always give me a little side salad with my omelet. Oh, it is delicious. I love it. It's one of my faves. You know, so there's no rule to say you just have to have one vegetable. So if you are looking to get rid of weight, double up, double up, double up at every meal. At every meal, because a lot of times people say, well, you know, you're supposed to have snacks and I don't eat that much or so forth. All right, then eat it at the meal times you're supposed to. And if you find that you're not hungry, like, you know how if you're like, oh man, well, it just takes me this, you know, half the morning just to finish my breakfast or whatever. Cut down your portion size then.
Yes.
Cut down your portion size. Maybe you're eating too much. Maybe you say, I really don't hardly eat that much as it is. Well, just eat a few bites, walk away, and come back in a couple hours and eat a few more. Remember, you have to fuel the fire. You have to fuel the fire. You have to. One of those questions, I believe, was when to cut off eating. What was that?
Yeah, this came from Rose. How important is the meal timing when you're trying to lose weight? Should we avoid eating at night?
Most definitely avoid eating at night. However, so again, let's keep in mind of what is your lifestyle. What do you have going on? If you are like a good majority of the population, you have daytime jobs, daytime obligations, that's where you are. So if this is your life, no, 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 no. Let's not eat past, say, 7 o'clock, honestly. You know,
Yeah.
depend if you're going to bed about 7 o'clock, let that be the cutoff, you know. You want to give your food time to digest. As I mentioned, like with those almonds, like if you wanted to, you say, oh, I'm so hungry, you know, I'm so hungry. Well, you can have a little handful of those almonds or so forth or whatever, because one, they're good in protein, they're a healthy fat, and you're going to bed, your body burns, as you know, like you said, repairs itself at night. So it is burning, it needs calories to do so. Now, yeah, we want to go off of what was already there. However, if you are hungry and you're like, I just need something, I would do something like that. Like I said, maybe a few. And I'm not talking about a whole bunch. I'm talking about eat a few and then, like, you know, well, I can't say down some water, because if you go to bed, that means you're probably going to be peeing all night. So yes, I'm a woman of a certain age. I know how that is now. So yes, no, I do think though, eat a few, like you said, take a few sips of water or whatever, you know, just to kind of take the edge off and keep it moving. Or if you happen to have, you know, again, I am very unconventional. I was going over my girlfriend's house and I was like, hey, you know, I'm hungry. I was like, I got to get me a snack. Well, I honestly didn't have anything to like grab quick in here, except some asparagus that I had made the night before. So I warmed them up and I ate asparagus. That's what I had. Took the edge off, you know, put
Yeah.
something. It was not a bad choice. And that's another thing I want to point out. When you are trying to get rid of weight, really, let's look at our choices. You know, quick gets you in trouble if you don't plan for it. Quick gets you in trouble if you don't plan for it. Plan. You have to plan. Like you said, take the elephant in small bites, not chunks. So, all right, I know I'm going to be hungry. I'm going to need a snack. I need to pick up, my celery and Greek yogurt and whatever it is that you're choosing. But make sure that we're looking at choices that are beneficial to us. Beneficial to us. When it comes to now, I think it was another question though. Before I move on, I want to say
Yeah,
something.
it was this came from Dennis. Are there certain foods that can help you? Oh, did we just read that one? All right, what was this one from Dennis? Was it Dennis? I must have got it mixed up. Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
Eat at night. I think I lost that for I sent it to you. I don't know how I lost it.
Let's see here.
Let me see here.
Oh, cravings and overeating. Cravings and overeating.
Overeating. Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna sound like a broken record on this one.
Go ahead.
Protein. A lot of times, like you said, late night snacking, and overeating is because you're not getting enough protein through the day. That's just what it is. You're maybe grabbing quick stuff. And remember, these quick items aren't always good,
All
you
right.
know. So making sure that each of your meals or snacks has a good amount of protein. Now, if you're one of those people who you're like, I really just don't have time, I will say that a good protein supplement, as far as like a shake. Now, I am really just being honest, not a big fan of like protein bars. None of them ever seem to just be right, honestly. But a good protein shake is it can be clean protein. It's usually about 35 grams, 25 to the 30 grams usually of protein per serving. So I would say if you're fighting cravings, increase your protein throughout the day. And your snacks or whatever. As far as your cravings are concerned, if you are a chip eater or something like that, maybe again, however it works for you. I personally I love like chips and dip. So, that's why right now celery is my jam, but it gives a crunch and I still get a dip. I use the Greek yogurt or light sour cream and like the ranch seasoning for it. But it's a crunch. It's you know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
crunch. I still get a snack, but I get a crunch and I get a dip. If now I'm not really like one just to sit and eat chips. I like chips and queso or chips and salsa. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, I don't really have that issue. However, I would say for those if you're craving something like that, I would probably try and find a supplement. If you like to cook or whatever, do people use zucchini chips? One of my clients just told me about something that they made into chips. I said, what? But she said it was good. So I
Okay.
would say either because a lot of those and just being honest, those different chip options that they have or so forth, keep in mind, it's still not something that you want to have on a regular basis. These are things that, maybe if you're looking for something as an alternative to have every once in a while. But having regular substitutions, because what are
Okay.
you changing? What behavior are you changing besides just you think you're making a better choice? You're still snacking. You know what
Yes,
I'm
you
saying?
are.
So no, when it comes to snacking and your cravings, and like I said, snacking at night, get in more protein during the day. You're probably not eating enough during the day. We actually spoke about this at my last event.
Yep.
The dietitian, she spoke about it. We should be having our hopefully, fingers crossed, the Fitness and Nutrition Expo. Hopefully, we'll have the dates coming today, and we'll talk about all types of things like these, because I am a personal trainer, a nutritional coach, but we do have access to dietitians and nutritionists that can break it all the way down for you. And if that's what you feel like you need, seek it out.
Yes.
Go and actually go to a professional that can tell you the best things that are specific for you. Because remember what I said about almonds? I don't eat almonds. And I was eating almonds for years. Drinking almond milk with my cereal, all that. No. Track your food. And that'll, like you said, give you some insight to what you are putting in your body, and so forth. So
Okay.
that
I have my own question for you.
okay.
And I think it's a good one.
All right.
Okay.
Throw it out there.
How much weight loss is diet versus exercise?
Well, it is definitely I would say more on the, people say 80-20. I would say more of 70-30. For me, 70 is a diet, 30 is your activity. And it's just because when it comes to weight loss, you really do need to include some sort of exercise regimen in there. One, you're looking for to build increase your metabolism, right? So we want to be able to burn a little bit more calories, burn more fat, belly fat, and so forth. So you definitely want to make sure that you're eating the right things. However, you want to make sure that you are getting in activity that is conducive to that. So, for example, you want to you're looking to, like you said, you started your weight loss journey, and you have been watching what you eat for the last 6 months. All you've been doing is just eating like you're supposed to. Now, you should be seeing a difference on the scale. And you should be seeing a difference in your clothes because you're dropping weight, hopefully, right? Hopefully. However, if you include that exercise in there, so suppose you say, I'm eating like I'm supposed to, I still have some belly fat or whatever. All right, well, let's go ahead and get some strength training or Pilates or yoga, add in your cardio activity. Your cardio activity can be as simple as dancing or house cleaning. I've said that before. If you're really getting in there, you should be sweating. When I know if I'm in there, man. I mean, goodness gracious, I have worked by the time I've got done whatever task it is, So you want to make sure, if possible, you combine the two. So as you're dropping weight from what you're eating, you're building muscle, right? So as the fat decreases, right, muscle increases, muscle tone. I'm not talking about bodybuilding. I'm just talking about toning up your muscles. And by you doing like you said, maybe it is just strength, like I said, just strength training. It could be push-ups and weights, it can be, again, yoga, Pilates, something like that. That is really good in combination with boosting your metabolism and weight loss. If you are looking to really get it off, make sure you get that cardio in there. Cardio is going to be the one that's really, if you want to see it kind of come off a little quicker, get that cardio in there. Couple that with your diet, then, good to go. But that's why I say it just depends. I say 70-30 because it really depends on what you're looking to do. You know what I mean? You could just be doing strength training and then like you said, with your diet, or you could be doing strength training and cardio and dieting, or not dieting. I don't want to say diet. Diet is nothing but what you eat. But with that, yeah, it definitely plays. It's a fine oil machine, If you are, I do suggest too, if you are wanting to get rid of weight, find little ways to implement good habits. Like I mentioned that drinking the cold bottle of water. Well, I mean, it's just a habit to get into to, make sure that, hey, you burn, you boost your metabolism, once or twice a day. If
Yeah.
you really want to, I mean, if you can, but if you really want to just have like quick exercise breaks, like a jump rope. I suggest, like, when people, if you can, and you're able, man, a jump rope is an excellent way to burn calories fast. And you do that a couple times or so forth throughout the day. If say you're not able to go to the gym and you're like, man, I had my heart set on going and so forth, whatever, that doesn't mean you can't do anything.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Because you've already implemented these healthy habits, you'll, even though you may not make it to the gym, you still have done something, right? Towards your goal. So definitely, definitely, definitely do it all.
Okay. I'm gonna throw something at you. This could probably be another show, but I was talking to somebody who's a nutritious expert, and we were talking about the fruits and things out there now. And she
Mm,
said the most misconception part is all of a sudden we got seedless watermelons, seedless grapes. She said that's altered chemically
yeah,
wise,
yeah.
and that also affects your body because your body wants things that's natural.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's altered like that, that's not natural. And some people can't eat it because me, myself personally, some fruits I can't eat because the acid in there tears my stomach up. But if I cook it down, I'm good
Mm-hmm.
with. I love pineapples, fresh
Mm-hmm.
pineapples, but the
Yeah,
acid of
yeah,
pineapples just,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
it bothers
But
me.
so just being honest, like grapefruit is, that's why you always would see, I don't know if you recall those grapefruit diets. Grapefruit is really good to add into a diet, or that you're trying to either maintain your weight, lose weight, because it's really, like you said, the acid in it is really good for boosting metabolism. Again, a lot of things I can't, I can't mess with. But like you said, if you could find a different way to have it, sure. But I'm
Yeah.
definitely with her. The seedless, the stuff like that, it's pretty suspect. It's pretty suspect. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely. I'm very excited because, like I said, it is suspect. So I'm a gardener. I like to be out there. Already, I done got some requests. Coach, you got this, you got. So I got to get on it. I was just waiting for this cold weather to get out here because, over here at the Wanna Go Fit's grocery store, we gives out fresh herbs and
Yeah.
vegetables around here through the spring and summer. So, if you know, you know.
Right.
If you know, you know. But I definitely, like you said, when it comes, guys, just to make sure that we understand this. When it comes to getting rid of weight, as Ron said, it is a lifestyle change. You have to find things that you to do to eat that you can live with. If you want to create a new habit, that's great. Start small. If you
Yeah.
say, hey, I made the comment about drinking a gallon of water. Well, if you haven't been drinking but maybe one little 8-ounce bottle of water all this time, what makes you think you're going to jump to a gallon? Right?
But
It's
people,
ridiculous. You're setting yourself up for failure. So
yeah,
when you are trying to get rid of weight, set yourself up for success, not failure. Not failure. Know yourself. Know yourself. Somebody like I got, I had my little tea from the people that we were at the Black Wall Street, and I got some supplement powder, and she said, well, you could put it in. I said, well, what do I put it in? She said, well, you could put it in your smoothie. I said, I don't like smoothies. She said, well, you can put it in your oatmeal. I was like, I don't really, I mean, I eat it, but, And she was like, well, she said, well, you could like put it in tea. Well, there you go. I personally, even me drinking tea is a is a healthy habit that I don't always do. Like
yeah,
I have my what I call my super tea. You know what I mean? Like yesterday I had the tea. It was a women's tea I got, so it was the tea, the supplement, my powdered greens. I mean, I'm telling you. And then look, I said, well, you done drank that. You might as well go ahead and just take your sea moss too. So I mean,
yeah,
I'm really trying to just do better with some of the things, and and I can't jump into it. So the CMOS, I've been doing that, pretty consistently, for the most part, for the last, maybe 2 months. um, and I began taking I'm also just another tip for when it comes to kind of getting rid of weight. Like when you do lean protein, that's why they recommend like salmon, because it's high in like omega-3s or so forth or whatever. So actually I take my omega-3s before I go to bed. So that way, my one, it is a metabolism thing, right? But I'm also, I'm giving my body something to repair itself, a healthy fat, while it's repairing itself. However, I was been working on taking my omegas before bed for the last few months. You know what I mean? So my point is, don't jump in with both feet, man. You got 2 feet for a reason. Put one in at a time.
yeah.
That's my public service announcement. That's what I
Well, that's a good public service announcement. It's just like I'm gonna bring up that people think there's a magic pill they could take and they lose that weight. Then they got that Ozempic people been using to lose
you know
weight.
how I feel
But
about
but
it.
I read something about the long-term effect that some women can be, I hate to say this, can become sterile by
Mm-hmm.
taking that, because they know the short time effect. They
Mm-hmm.
don't know the long-term effect. Everybody jump on that bag and putting that needle inside there. Matter of fact, with me having type 2 diabetes, Ozempic was one of mine to keep things, current.
Sure.
But after everybody else started using it, that Ozempic went up in so much I couldn't even afford that anymore.
Wow.
So
That's so sad,
the
man.
doctor gave me an alternative medication to take, which I do, but I am at that point in my life, and I'm telling you this for the first time. I am so sick and damn tired of taking medicine. I'm just tired of it. But I'm taking it because I won't be around to kick your butt, my grandkids' butt, and everybody else. But I'm looking for alternative medication now. That's what I'm looking at right now, because I want to reduce the pills that I'm on right now. I want to reduce that. I now one of them is change my lifestyle again. I changed it already in what I'm eating. Now I got to change it to another thing that's going to benefit me, not in the short run, but in the long run. But I know when you go alternative medicines, it doesn't happen overnight. It
No,
takes time. And
no, no.
so I am willing to take much time as I can to get off some of that stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, and honestly, Ron, years ago, I had did a Biggest Loser. This was back before I rebranded, when I was still on the Go Fitness. I was in Atlanta at the time, and I did a Biggest Loser out of the Hateville wreck, right? The police department, everybody participated. It was a really good turnout. The number one thing that I felt that came out of that, one of my group fitness people, she joined, but she got everybody in her family to join. And it was her sister who had the biggest results, because her sister had lupus, and her sister began getting rid of weight, coming off of medication, and moving around. I mean, it was great. It was great. And just her, not only her, but, I heard people talking about, oh, like you said, I was, taking this for my cholesterol. I'm not taking that no more. I was taking that. I'm not taking that no more. So just being honest, for me, when I say saving the world 1 pound at a time, when I say it's not just weight, that's what I mean. Because if you can come and get off of medications, because the medication, like you said, is not necessarily curing the problem. It's just treating the problem, right? So if you can find some natural ways to actually cure the problem, or even still just treat the problem, but naturally, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. And I tell you this, a lot of times diet and exercise are right at the top of that. And then, like you said, you go and find you like the people, like you said, they had the different teas and herbs and things. These things that have been around before any of this medication
Right.
that they had. Just saying. And that's my public service announcement again, number 2.
Oh boy, you all right. But you're right. That's what we need to do. And we also need to do research on everything.
That's right.
If something's too good to be true, chances are it's too good to be true.
It is. It is.
And stuff.
I heard on the TV a few weeks ago, fastest weight loss results, fastest something. I can't, something like that. And I just shook my head. And I just shook my head, because I said, y'all are contributing to people being even more overweight or even more unhealthy, because, like you said, you're looking for this magic pill. Yeah. There's no magic pill. The magic pill starts up here. Like I said,
I like that.
Either getting rid of weight or losing weight. You figure out which one it is that you want to do. Like you said, you got a party coming up. It's your birthday. You want to turn up, be fly in your dress. All right, go ahead and lose some weight. Go. Hey, if that's what you want to do. However, if you trying to look good in that dress and the next dress and the next dress, then you better get rid of it. Just saying.
Yep.
Public announcement number 3.
God, she is on it today. That's why I love my Coach K. I always tell people about you. I said, if you get her as your coach, you get a comedy show for free.
I'm hilarious.
Yeah, that's you. And that's you. And that's what we love about you, because you keep it real. You focus on them. And you should have heard me earlier today. I said, now, if you with Coach K and you show up smelling like a cheeseburger, knowing you wasn't supposed to have one, she's gonna work your butt. You're gonna come out there like, what happened?
Oh yeah. It's so funny. You're right. Because people, it's not even smelling. It's just like as people are talking, and people naturally talk. And so as they saying this and that or whatever, and then I'll be like, oh, and they'd be like, oh, coach, I'm like, I'm sorry. Are you the one who just said that you had X, Y, Z and so forth? Okay, then continue, right? No.
Yeah. Well,
I
tell you what I did one day. I grilled some hamburgers and I turned around and got slices of pineapples. I like pineapples. I got this from Hawaii. And I grilled my pineapples and everything and put it on the hamburger. I said, oh, good God, this is good. I said, what have I been missing? I went to Hawaii and I got this teriyaki hamburger. I said, teriyaki, what's on it? Oh, we got our pineapples. I tried it. And every time I'm grilling a burger, a pineapple goes on that grill too. I know. Because, grilling fruit is also good. I like that.
My son is the first one that did that. That I had it. He had grilled pine. I was like, what? It was really, really good. I definitely think that getting outside of the box is also a good way to make sure that you are creating a diet that you can live with. You know, like you said, grilling that pineapple, that's a nice savory sweet snack.
Yes.
You putting it on a burger, but you could also, again, have it as a snack.
We have there's fruit trays, but why not a grilled fruit tray?
Ooh, shut your mouth. Invite me to that.
Boy, I'm gonna try it. Maybe I grill my apples, be able to eat my apples that way.
Well, I would assume it would be all right. I'm not a big fruit, like I don't eat a lot of fruit. That's I would rather have vegetables. So that's just me, but I do think that having fruit different ways, like I love fruit in my salad, like strawberries in my salad, blueberries everywhere. So I'm not really into, that, but like oranges or apples or something, But I definitely, like you said, just switch it up. Find out what you like you said, figure out what you like, what works for you, what works for your lifestyle, and repeat.
Yes.
Repeat.
Wow, Coach K, we did good today. This was all right. That's what I'm talking about. We sat down here and discussed numerous stuff. And I appreciate the people.
Thank you for the people who submitted their questions. Yeah, I do appreciate your engagement. And hope I answered your questions. And if you have any questions that I didn't answer, you can always reach me at 210-910-7229. You can text that number, or if you want to email me at k.malum@wannagofit.com. Gotcha.
There you go. You heard all that from our in-house coach, Miss Coach K. All right, we appreciate it. I mean, she could be in a big crowd and she could say that, and I know it's Coach K because she's the only one that does that.
Oh yeah. Most people know when I show up. I show up. And
Yeah,
show
she sure
out.
does. And show out.
I will
So,
say this though, Ron, and I gotta go because I got something else. But talking to you on Saturday saved me from going back in there and getting some of that 7-Up lemon pound cake. So I'm disappointed, but thank you. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because she tried to lure me in. Come on, Ron.
I
said,
wanted
nope,
some.
I can't touch none of that.
She said that was her OG. That's how she started the business.
Yeah.
If that's the OG, woo, I bet you was fire.
But people told me when they ate that pound cake, when they said you could slap your mama, you can when she eat that pound cake. It was that good.
Damn.
I left it alone. I'm like you. I left it alone.
I ain't mean to. I was gonna loop back. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. But all right, man. I am always happy to join in and chat it up with you. Till next time.
That's right. Coach K, you take care, and we'll talk to you down the road.
All right. Have a good day, guys.
All right. Thank you for tuning in to WSAN Radio. Catch us on our YouTube channel, WSAN Radio SA. Subscribe to our channel and hit that notification button.